And we're back. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Ann Smith again. You are on Iron Sharpens Iron Council, a ministry dedicated to uplift humanity. And we're back with TRE and Evelyn to finish the story about this horrific case that she's been going through.
Frozen again.
Let us finish it.
Wow. Amazing. Come back. Probably turned it off when she realized she froze.
Do you think? Yeah. I hit pause because we keep getting the attacks every time we talk about, anytime I do an interview regarding CPS and child custody and any kind of family court matter, the videos are interrupted viciously. So we'll try to get through this for you all. This is important to share this moment of empowerment for this mom who did not stop fighting. So, oh my God, we off camera, guys. We had so much juicy stuff to share. So take it away, Evelyn. Give it to them. Give them where you've been, what you've been through. Oh, about the don't forget about the arrest. Yes, talk about. We want to expose all of it.
The fear you feel, and now let's go through it, just like you were saying.
Yes.
I think, like I said, the most thing I think parents have the trouble with is the scare tactics are being, and I'm here to tell you, it is scary. It is very scary, but do not stop. There's nothing more scarier than going through life without having your children and not knowing where they are, who they're with, if they're okay. You know, that is the most scariest thing in the world. So if you can go through that, you can go through a night or two in jail. It's not going to be that hard. What happened was that me and Miss Tracy kind of uncovered the fact that these orders are temporary orders. And they have this scheduling order that they can do, or that they actually are supposed to do, and that they should follow. And the one for here, it says within 180 days, if your case has not been fully resolved, or if they have not found anything to find you unfit, which to this day, now it has been 9 months in, and I have not been found unfit, but I do not have my children. So.
Yeah, and that's a big deal too. So what led us up to some of this? Okay, so Evelyn is getting sick and tired of waiting for her kids, and I can't blame her, and that's just the way it is. So as we're looking at the orders, what people need to understand is that in contract law, in statutory construction, these orders are actually not mandate, they're suggestions, and you can find case law that'll tell you this. If the court order doesn't specify that there is a consequence within that failure to perform under that order, it means that they're making suggestions. So upon reading the order for her visitation schedule or whatever, it said that it was supposed to be she was supposed to have supervised visits, and it was at CPS discretion. There's no stipulation how many days, how much time, it just by CPS policy, right? And it said that these visits were supposed to be supervised. Well, they have never supervised a visit, ever. So she's been freely visiting just on a whim, and no one ever supervised. And that goes to tell you. So if they're not following the order, why would she feel obligated to follow the order too? It makes no sense. So now she's on her visit. She took the kids and went to a friend's house. Nobody was there. She was gone. I think about an hour before anybody mentioned anything. They didn't notice she was gone.
Before they realized that we were gone.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually left that visiting site, and at this time they had this was after they had separated my oldest son from the other three. So I had actually got them the younger three. I went to that visitation where we usually meet. It's not supervised. We are separate inside and outside. So I didn't wait around. When we went out, I just put them in the car. I had a car seat and everything, and we left. And I went and picked up my oldest son, and we all four left there, and we went to go just say have a visit at a friend's house. I wanted my visitation with all 4 of my children, like they had already promised in the meeting that Miss Tracy had attended, and she is my witness, because they had said that they were going to allow all of us to have a meeting. They were going to allow all 4 of them to be in contact, and up to that point, they had not. And I wanted all my children, and I was tired of it. And so, yeah, we left. And they ended up, well, this was one thing that shocked me, was because I had heard in an interview by another attorney, can I say her name?
Go for it.
Miss Connie Regularly had made a interview and had pointed out that the Supreme Court stated that it was that it wasn't an offense, or it was illegal for DCS to ping someone's phone for locations and stuff. Well, actually, so I took the batteries out of our phone and unplugged them, everything. Well, my oldest son has his own phone. Well, he turned his own. And according to the motion for the no contact order, that is, they pinged his phone, and that's how they found us. And
Wow.
they sent, in the police report, it says what they call the Joint Task Force Bravo team. I've never heard of that. Some of the police officers that I talked to afterwards never heard of that. But they were actually from a local precinct. They hadn't had on any special suits or anything. They just had on police uniforms, and they came. And they asked me, was I Evelyn? And I told them, well, I don't know, am I? And he said, all right, well, we're just going to detain you. And they put me in the back of the police car. And while I was being detained, not under arrest, all the whole time I'm asking, am I under arrest? Nobody's read me my rights. I'm specifically stating these things to them, and still no one's read me my rights. No one's told me I'm under arrest. I'm handcuffed in the back of a police car. My children are being escorted out of my friend's house, put into the back of a police car to be what they told me at that time, to be sent down to the precinct or wherever to get both sides of the statements. Well, I'm telling you now, I was handcuffed by my feet and my ankles and my wrists to a chair for almost 3 hours. Never told I was under arrest. Never got to talk to anyone to hear both sides or anything. Next thing I heard was then the sergeant came in and told me that he read me my Miranda rights. This was 5 hours into the detainment that I was arrested for what they call felony custodial interference. I don't know how it's a felony, but that was 4 felony arrests now I have that I'm facing. I have to go to court for next week, actually. But so I've never been to jail before. I never had a speeding ticket or anything. But now I have 4 felony arrests and harboring a runaway. Since my son didn't run away, he just left. But he's older. They try to label him as a runaway now. And I told them he didn't run away. We were having a visit. So
unbelievable.
I spent that night in jail and where I was strip searched. It was really embarrassing. But hey, whatever. I don't really care. Like Miss Tracy was upset. She called the next day. I think she was almost crying. She was like, I didn't know where you was. I felt so bad. And I told her, I said, hey, look, don't feel bad. I did exactly what I wanted to do. And if I didn't do anything else, I opened my children's eyes and I let them see, hey, because you don't never know what these people are telling your kids and everything. But I let them see firsthand, hey, they got to see who the bad guys was in my eyes. And I think that meant more to me than anything else in the world, because they know that their mama has never done nothing wrong and has never been to jail and didn't have to go to jail and all. So I think
that all of this is coming from a simple act of love that you're fighting. You were just fighting for your baby, for the baby girl, and now all of this is coming out of that. It's just insane. It's an insane and upside down world that we live in, when a mom who just wants to be with her children, and obviously the children want to be with their mom, is criminalized and subject to a strip search. How dehumanizing can you be? I mean, what kind of world that we live in when that's okay and that's the right thing? That I'm going to tell you right here, right now, on camera, you did nothing wrong, and I support you 100%, and we're going to get those babies back. And I just commend you for not giving up and not fighting and losing the fear. Once you lose the fear, all bets are off. All bets are off, because that's their number one weapon against us. And this, you know, in these battles in these courtrooms. But once you lose the fear and you feel empowered, you are never going to be a victim again. And so I just commend you for, you know, just persevering. You're giving so many people hope. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Evelyn. You just have no idea how much hope you're giving.
Yes, but all of this, I think, actually stemmed from me just wanting to make the record. It's all from me trying to file my defense for myself, and not even defending myself. Just like I said, wanting to make the record. Just something on the record in my behalf, because Miss Tracy taught me, you know, that's how they get a lot of the parents. They can't appeal these things because we believe we have this court-appointed attorney and we believe that they're doing these things on our behalf. They are not. So if we don't make the record, we don't have anything to appeal. So it's really heartbreaking, and it really. And I can admit that before all this, I was a product of the stigma that society has against parents that lose their children. I believed, you know, before, well, there's something wrong with her because she don't got her kids. Something, that girl's crazy. She got her kids. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me. But you know, it was. But now I think it's really heartbreaking, and it really. That is what I think a lot of parents, they get afraid and they are lonely. It's a lonely journey. It's a lonely battle. You don't have anyone on your side, really. It's even your closest friends. They know you their whole life. They know. So you had to do something. Why don't you get your kids back yet? You know, and it's lonely because you don't want to have to go through explaining the whole thing again, because not only are you feel like you're defending yourself, you're trying to sway someone to believe your way, and it's hard for people to think that way if they don't go through it. So right. I think these videos and things that Miss Tracy and yourself are trying to do are awesome, because I believe it lets the public know that these stigmas are actually making it harder for parents, because we are lonely. We are fighting a lonely battle against a $1 billion corporation. It's lucrative money, because one thing we know, that children are coming every day in this world. Somebody's gonna have some kids, and they're all over the world. And if you look into it, it's happening all over the world, and it's never published in the news media or anything like that, because those are governed by the government. But it is very scary. So people out there, if you have that stigma for people that think they have their kids gone and that they did something wrong, please do not point the finger, because it could be you tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know, I want to bring back to, you know, on that note, that I want you to think about this logically. So first of all, I don't know Evelyn from Adam. I've never dealt with CPS myself. I have no reason to think anything other than being the middle. Like, let's see what's happening. I'm just curious. Let's see what's going on. This woman, I did my research, has a professional career. She had it until they called her employer to get her fired to weaken her means for defending herself, okay? Or they sent a letter, I think it was what it was. And this has been said by the employer. So this isn't speculation, this happened. These people called her employer so that she would lose her job. And now how's she going to defend herself, her case, pay her rent, have a house that she's supposed to have for her children, food in their stomach to eat for her children. So she had to go scramble, get another job, but not in her profession, because her profession might be in contact with children. And because this case involves children, she can't go back to work. So now she's debilitated from defending herself. Mm-hmm. But that aside, this woman who has no prior record of anything, not even speeding, was such a criminal that she had to bend over, spread her cheeks, okay, for these people to let her go at the end of the day. So this criminal who's going to court was released without bail the same day.
Wow.
How is that criminal? Who releases criminals like that? But the thing is, custodial interference is the criminal charge that they would like to bring up. And it's kind of a complex thing to explain. I won't get into details, but it is really just a civil agreement. If I don't listen to you and do what you want me to do the way you want me to do it in our agreement, I agree, I'll let you press criminal charges on me when I get, when I'm not performing the way you want. That's really what it comes down to. So now that they've had her into this system, so a real police officer, or not a real police officer, sorry, a precinct police officer comes, arrests her, refuses to admit that he's arresting her, says that she's being detained the whole time she's handcuffed, and then they bring her to the sheriff's station. Isn't that interesting? Because if a policeman makes an arrest, he brings you to his own jurisdiction to make the arrest. But that's not what they did. They took her to the sheriff's office. That's why I couldn't find her. I was like, I called all the different police departments. Who has this woman? We don't know. There's nothing on record. I couldn't find her anywhere until the next day. It was in the sheriff's, her name was on the sheriff's docket. Like, how did that happen?
I don't want to interrupt you, but I did just want to point out now, not only, I think maybe it was 5 days before my detainment, that me and Miss Tracy made calls ourselves to local precincts and police stations and asked specifically about their involvement in civil matters. And because the foster family wanted to take my daughter out of state and leave my other children here in respite. Well, by it being such close time, I told them, I said, hey, I just can't let you take her. I can't approve that trip. It's you guys are welcome to go on your family vacation, but my daughter needs to stay here with her brothers in respite. And they took her anyway. But I could get no help from this civil matter now from the police. When I asked them for help then, I could not get any help, which led me to believe, because they told 3 or 4 different precincts told me and Miss Tracy ourselves we were on 3-way that they do not get involved in civil matters. So I was not hey, I wanted to take my kids. It was a civil matter. And
okay.
now I'm arrested.
Right. In the same civil matter.
Yeah. So they won't do anything if they won't get involved in a civil matter if it's your problem. But if it's a CPS's problem or an agent's problem, then they'll, of course, then it's civil, quasi-criminal, let's make something up off the top of our head stuff. But let me explain a little bit about that to people so that they understand where that comes from. So what we found is that there is an organization that hires them privately. So they're doing private business for this particular organization. What was that, Evelyn?
It's a volunteer organization, actually. So everything's listed under volunteer, so they don't actually get paid from the state, I believe, but they do get dibs on this federal funding that that everyone wants a part of, I guess. So.
Well, yeah, it comes down from an organization that it's a religiously based organization, of course. So it's a nonprofit organization, and what they do is they provide the professionals that are ready, willing, and able to serve your family. And it all comes down to one little location per county, per state. So they put all these professionals that are ready to help your family into what is called a child advocacy center. In that child advocacy center, they sign what are called trade agreements. Those trade agreements that they sign mean that they now all are participating to work for that organization, not you, not your children. So police, all of them are listed in the contract. Yes, I have it. So all the police stations are considered to be a part of this task force, along with the attorney general, the mayor, the governor, the juvenile court. The juvenile court is in contract with this professional organization, brokeraging their services to you. That's what they do. That's why when you go to court, they say, well, you need to get psych services, or you need to get child assistance services, or whatever services that they're giving to you. That's a sales pitch. It ain't nothing else. You have the cops and the agents who are doing investigations. What are they investigating? Which programs you'll qualify for. We do this in sales. Anyone who's done sales knows this. It's called creating a pipeline, an opportunity for business. So that's what they really do, is they create a pipeline. What kind of services will we qualify you for? Because every service that they qualify you for means that they will get grant funding specifically for those particular services. So now that we have this one-stop shop, the juvenile court now works with this investigative team to determine which services they can provide you to correct the behavior that this particular private nonprofit organization doesn't like. So if they don't like the way you're parenting this private organization, the juvenile court works for them to correct that behavior. Sick. You thought that came from Congress or somebody who made a law. No. They have an internal legislative body who they are a self-governing organization. So legislation that is written under that code, under the Juvenile Act, is actually written by the people who want to give you services. Ain't that special? So if you read the code, what you'll find is that there is only one party that they protect children from. Only one.
The parents.
If your children are being abused by an officer, they don't work to protect the children from him. If your children are being abused by a foster family, they do not protect your children from them. If your children are being abused in a foster facility, they do not protect your children from them. Their sole meaning, purpose, and mission is to protect your children from one person, the parent. Nobody else. If someone goes outside and beats your kid up at the courtroom, whatever happens to your kid, it could be in front of everyone, they have no duty to protect your child from that guy, just you. So this is kind of where we get into a little bit more details. Understanding that kind of concept means that there is an unequal protection for your children, not just you. Obviously, we could get into that all day long, but this means that your children, when they go into that courtroom, are not equally protected under their self-governing law, because they don't get protected from everybody else, just you. And that can't happen. And we try to get them to come in and say, yeah, we'll sign up to protect the kids, and they refused. They won't do it because they don't.
I think another thing that they do is
I don't hear you, Em.
I think another thing that they do is they don't inform us enough to let us know. And what me and Miss Tracy have.
Here goes that interference again, where you're breaking up.
Oh goodness. I think what me and Miss Tracy uncovered was that if we dug a little bit deeper into just the court system, the juvenile
I'm not hearing her, are you?
Yeah, I can hear her okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but Trey can't.
Oh, they cut Miss Tracy out. No, suckers. Well, what me and Miss Tracy uncovered was that if you dig into the juvenile court system and actually up to the the administrative offices, and if people would look into what we call the Administration Act, I think it was 1935. I'm not going to get into that, but if you look up to the juvenile court system itself, everyone, including the judge, including the people that appoint the judge, all have worked for DCS at some point. They all work for the same administration. So how can a parent or anyone going into the system feel they will ever get a fair hearing, a fair chance? They are all it's just like everyone working for Walmart. They're all employees of the same corporation. So if you go in Walmart, you have to follow Walmart's rules. If you agree to go in their courtroom, it will be under their rules. That's why it is private. It is a private courtroom. It is a private corporation. It is.
Yeah, it's all commercial, and it's all by consent through a contract. But Trey's having issues hearing us, so we'll have to close out again, and we'll resume in a third video. So really quick, are you able to hear me, Evelyn?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, she can't hear either one of us now, so I just chatted her that we'll close out and we'll come back in. Okay, guys, this is heating up, guys. We're gonna get to the bottom of it, and we are exposing the truth. We're gonna fight to get the story out. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell notification button so you do not miss an upload. We are working very, very hard to get this story out to you, and we'll be back. And until next time, be safe, everybody. Peace, bliss, and positive vibes only in the comments. Bye, everybody. We'll be back.